Apple just silently fixed the biggest problem with the MacBook Air, but they also baked in a massive hidden tax that nobody is talking about. The M5 MacBook Air looks identical on the outside, but underneath that recycled chassis, Cupertino actually changed the very foundation of how these machines handle memory, storage, and local AI. And yet, there's a weird bottleneck they intentionally left in that makes absolutely no sense. Here, at Educational Hub, we track every supply chain whisper, and I can tell you right now, the marketing slides are hiding the real story. Let me walk you through exactly what they changed, what they broke, and why this might be the most confusing Mac release in years. From the outside, you would swear this is just an M2 or an M3 or an M4. Apple kept the exact same chassis. Honestly, I will believe we are getting a redesign when I see it, because they clearly looked at this wedge and thought it was good enough for another generation. Everything from the keyboard to the MagSafe connector to the physical ports is entirely unchanged. You still get just 2 ports on the left side, and if you were hoping for Thunderbolt 5, I have bad news. It still has Thunderbolt 4, but they did give us Wi-Fi 7. On paper, that is a massive upgrade. It is supposed to move data twice as fast as the old standard. There's a brand new chip inside called the N1. But does it actually enable full MLO and 320 MHz channels? I ran some heavy speed tests on a high-end 10 gigabit network to find out. On the 5 GHz band, the M5 pulled about 625 megabits per second. Then I forced it on as 6 GHz, expecting it to absolutely fly. The results were honestly embarrassing. It landed right near the older M4 and actually fell slightly behind the M3. That is nowhere near what Wi-Fi 7 is supposed to deliver. It turns out Apple actually locked this feature down to 160 MHz instead of giving it the whole 320. According to recent reports out of DG Times, Apple is aggressively segmenting their wireless chips. It is a built-in bottleneck. I do not know if it is because this is just an Air and they want to push power users to the Pro models, but starting off with a synthetic limitation feels like a classic Apple move. Have any of you actually noticed a real-world difference with Wi-Fi 7 routers yet? Or is it just snake oil for now? Let me know down in the comments. Do not worry though, because Apple makes up for it in display support. The M1 and M2 could only drive a single external display natively. The M3 finally gave us 2, but only if you slam the laptop lid shut. The M4 fixed it by allowing 2 external displays plus the built-in screen, all at once. The M5 keeps that same 3-screen setup, but with a major quality of life fix. The M5 can drive both of those external displays through a single Thunderbolt port, whereas the M4 forced you to use up both of your ports just to plug in your monitors. Keeping one port free for external drives is huge for a daily driver. According to the ELEC, Apple tweaked the display controller architecture specifically to handle this single-stream transport, which is a massive win for dock users. Speaking of displays, if you were waiting for an OLED MacBook Air, Ross Young has made it perfectly clear that we're stuck with LCDs for a few more years, likely to keep costs down while they throw all their cash at TSMC 3nm yields. Now I need to talk about storage because this is where Apple finally woke up. For 4 generations, they kept making the processor faster and faster while storage basically stood still or even went backward. The base M2 and M3 models with 256 gigs of storage were notoriously slow because they used a single NAND chip. We saw Shrimp Apple Pro tweeting months ago that Apple was renegotiating their NAND flash contracts, and it paid off. The M5 entirely ditches the 256 gig model. The new base is 512 gigs, and the read-write speeds are in a completely different league. It more than doubles the speed of every previous machine. The sequential write speeds are so aggressive that my high-end external Thunderbolt drive is now the bottleneck. This effectively solves the dreaded swap memory lag that haunted base model MacBooks for years. Moving on to the CPU, the results are a bit of a mixed bag. The first 3 generations of Apple Silicon Airs had 8 cores. The M4 bumped that to 10, and the M5 keeps that 10-core layout. Running synthetic web benchmarks, the M5 is only about 5% faster than the M4. It is the smallest generational improvement since the M1 launched. We are seeing diminishing returns on single-core speeds. But when you throw heavy, multi-threaded C++ compile tasks at it, the M5 finishes about 8% faster than last year. Where it really starts to fly is sustained workloads. The M5 has these new supercores, and when building large code bases, it cuts the M1 times almost exactly in half. But there is a catch: thermal throttling. The M4 got noticeably warm last year. Pushing all 10 cores to the absolute limit on the M5 makes this fanless aluminum slab genuinely hot. I ran a continuous merge sort test, pushing 1 billion integers across all cores for over 10 minutes. The M5 demolished the test in terms of raw speed, finishing in under 12 minutes while older models were still chugging away. However, it also showed the highest thermal variance, slowing down by about 6% from the first run to the last run. It is fast, but it definitely pulls power and generates heat. Makotakro warned us that Apple was pushing the thermal envelope of this chassis to its absolute limits, and they were right. It is a beast, but you will feel it on your lap. Now let us talk about the real reason the M5 exists: artificial intelligence. For the past year, Mark Gurman has been hammering home that Apple Intelligence is the future of the Apple ecosystem. But local AI uses two things very heavily: memory bandwidth and GPU neural processing. The M5 memory bandwidth tests hit 142 gigabytes per second. That is a massive 26% jump over the M4, marking the single biggest bandwidth leap in the Air lineup since the M1. Why do they do this? To feed the AI machine. Every M5 GPU core now contains a dedicated neural accelerator. Are you actually running local AI models on your laptops yet? Or are you just using cloud tools? Because if you run local models, the M5 is ridiculous. Testing token generation on small local language models shows the M5 pumping out almost 44 tokens per second. But the real mind-blowing metric is prompt processing. The M4 could process 284 tokens per second when reading a prompt. The M5 processes over 1,000 tokens per second. That is almost 4 times faster than last year, completely validating Ming-Chi Kuo and his early supply chain leaks about Apple overhauling their neural engines. If you hook this up to your code editor for local AI completion, it is a night and day difference. But here comes the Apple tax. The M4 launched at $999 for 16 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage. The M5 starts at $1,299. Yes, you get 512 gigs of storage out of the gate now, but Apple aggressively raised the floor price. They blame the global supply of RAM being swallowed up by AI data centers, which is a convenient excuse to widen the gap in your wallet. If you have an M4, keep it. The M5 is incredible, but it does not make last year's model obsolete. If you're on an M1 or M2 and you feel the storage squeeze, this is the upgrade you've been waiting for.